Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star. It is Saturday night here on the Baltic Star, and it's hot and sweaty here, and even hot and sweaty over with one of our favourite guests, who we'll introduce in a second. If it is your first time here, you are very, very welcome. We stream on a Friday night and a Saturday night, and video games other night, but we'll talk about that at the end. And on Saturday, we tend to play a whole series of one-shots, little other quirky stories, adventures, and such like. And this is one of them. This is our 1930s Indiana Jones meets Agatha Christie meets Poirot meets all that kind of stuff. And I enjoy these nights. I enjoy confusing and upsetting our two gentlemen down below, who are wonderful. Every night they are wonderful and they inhabit their characters perfectly. And I hope, dear viewer, you enjoy them. If it's your first time, we will run either. I have no idea how long we'll run tonight. It's kind of down to these two, as we are short of a player this evening, who his character's drugged up and lying on a floor in some kind of space bubble right now. Hence the image. So we can only go so far as before he will come back into the story. So we will see how it goes. If one of them just bursts into a certain room, the stream will last about 2 minutes. So, aha! Oh, Reese. So hopefully they'll play along and be good boys somewhat when needed. So yeah, we'll run. I have no idea. We might take a break in the middle depending on the time. And sorry, my throat's going. So yes, hang around for as long or short as you want. Please feel free to chat. If any of us are not busy, we tend to chat a bit and chat with you. Hello to Kopo Tojo. We love having you with us. It's been an absolute pleasure every time you've been here. We hope you enjoy this evening. We hope any lurkers enjoy this evening. You can lurk or chat, whatever you want to do. We like to think that chat is a friendly place. There is a red sun there. If you click on it, you can spend some points. Anything pink makes a bit of a noise, like this one.
I am invincible!
That's a very important one. Or there's some things that are just fun, and then there's some things that interact with the game. You can give them a boon. You can name an NPC. You can make them tell some backstory. Whatever you want to do, have a click through and find out. There is one thing we keep as 1 credit. It will always be 1 credit, and that is I'll drink to that. If there's a toast in game or something happens in game and you wish to toast along, we keep that to 1 credit, so you can always get involved for very cheap, and anyone can afford it. I think you have to spend about 2 minutes watching, and that's it really. So delightful. I'll introduce each of us, and they'll introduce themselves, and then we'll get into the game. So for this game, my name is Luke. I'm here in the top right-hand corner, wishing I was wearing a shorter sleeve t-shirt. There's too much sleeve on this t-shirt for this weather. I'm the GM for this evening, and it's a pleasure to be here with you and with you two down here. Speaking of these two down here, first up we have the smartest man in any room. He lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, and he hires a legion of topless, oiled up muscle men to hold his curtain up behind him. It must be quite hot in that room this evening. It is Ben. Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Yes. Much looking forward to some Tony and Rudi. This is the OG Tony and Rudi, back when it was just the three of us.
Indeed.
It is. It's a flashback to the olden days. How's it feeling? Is it like putting on an old pair of moccasins?
It does feel like a very sort of convivial attitude, and it's only slightly spoilt by the fact that all of the Tony and Rudi games contain stories that are filled with ancient evil and violence and menace.
Yeah, but Ewan's not here tonight, so
That's true.
that's true. So I'm sure it'll be lovely.
Yes, I do like the little Ewan graphic.
Yeah, so I spent ages trawling through an old graphic to get one of him looking like he's dozing off. But I got one.
So when you say ages, it was like literally any shot of Ewan.
Yeah, pretty much. Just go past halfway, and there you go. He's tired. That's perfect. Please tell our dear viewers, Ben, who you're playing this evening.
I play a character called Tony Guerrero. He is an Italian by extraction, and he is a sort of archaeologist, adventurer, and archivist and museum curator. He may or may not have a somewhat beaten up hat with a wide brim and some form of whip, but he's definitely a character with some enthusiasm of the adventures of the world.
Oh, he sounds like a man we can all get behind. Just for those watching for the first time, what do his fifth best pair of trousers look like?
I must turn immediately to the critical list. The fifth best pair of trousers, currently residing in the hotel safe behind the front desk, are tan in colour.
Oh, wonderful! They sound absolutely delightful. Hopefully, we'll come across them this evening. If not, I will force it.
There has to be, for reasons that may or may not become clear, there have to be master lists of Tony's trousers.
It's one of the most important canonical things in our entire story.
Basically, yes. All of the legends are real, and Tony's trousers get ruined on an almost clockwork schedule.
Exactly, and hang around, and it might happen this evening.
You never know.
We can but hope. Our second member of the OG Tony and Rudi is truly a Greek god. He stands like an Adonis, like Zeus himself, throwing down thunderbolts of genius from atop his Mount Olympus. He is outgunning me this evening yet again. He is the sensational, quite frankly, far too sexy John. Good evening, John. How are you?
I'm certainly more entertained now with this intro. Greetings. Hello. I am John. I am indeed Greek. We are experiencing a heat wave. It's pretty hot. I have my two cats with me in this room, which is well air conditioned. You may hear them now meowing.
That's perfect timing.
I have to make sure that they're okay, so I will keep an eye. You see me looking like that around. I'm probably interacting with my cats one way or another. And you're probably wondering, Luke, who I am playing tonight.
I really am. Please tell me.
Tonight, as every night in this Tony and Rudi adventures, I am playing Rudi Otto. Rudi Otto is a German-born, although caravan-raised man that is currently in his mid-50s. He is a very broad, very large man, as he was an amateur and pro boxer in his 20s. He retired in undefeated with a record of 9-0, and then he pursued his passion in the world of academia, and he started studying and becoming quite a scholar when it comes to history, ancient civilizations, culture. And there in his travels, he met his partner in crime, Tony Guerrero. And together they formed this dynamic duo. But as of late, after they experienced some nice supernatural adventures of late, he has lost some weight. His once proud mustache is now accompanied with a scruffy beard. And now he is a novice student of the occult, fascinated by the mysteries of this world, and he's going through like a more dark or so period in his life. And let's see where this one goes, Luke.
I'm very interested. I do love the darkest timeline, Rudy. Yeah, he's a bit like he's a bit like a 16-year-old emo schoolgirl in that he likes drawing pentagrams in his notebook. But other than that, I'm a big fan of both our heroes, and I hope that you are too, dear viewers. If they are ready, um, I suppose we should begin and launch them back into their magical adventure. It's not magical, it's just wonderful. It's not wonderful, it's okay. Okay, here we go. It is December 1937, just over half a year since the fateful voyage of the SS Cannes that left numerous innocent and not so innocent people dead, and numerous pairs of Tony Guerrero's trousers ruined beyond the capabilities of the best dry cleaners in Milan. I know little of what Tony and Rudi did for the months following their journey across the Mediterranean. I am neither their servant or accountant. However, it was in the November of 1937 when I heard their names spoken of once more. I'd been starting to wonder what amazing adventures they may have found themselves wrapped up in, when I heard tell of their invitation to speak at the Academic Symposium at the Carlton Hotel in St. Moritz. No, I'm going to stop there. We do not have time for a long intro today, because things have taken a turn for the concerning. Yes, even more concerning than Tony's second best pair of trousers having wine spilt on them, and even just more concerning than Le Petit Grand's bar running out of the best schnapps. You see, time has been repeating for our heroes Tony, Rudi and Gaston. Multiple times now they have found themselves back at the table closest to the roaring fire in the dining room of the aforementioned Le Petit Grand Hotel, surrounded by the same guests, sitting in the same places, drinking the same drinks, and discussing the same topics as the previous Friday, which was today. Yesterday. It gets confusing. Despite many different approaches taken by our heroes, the evening has generally led to the famous hypnotist, the great Bauman, hypnotizing volunteers, and the one who he has hypnotized to seek out evil has ended up killing themselves in a brutal manner later that night. So far, we have experienced Dr. Pieter de Groot slicing his own throat in a blizzard on the road up to the famous Carlton Hotel. Then we experienced Flavio Esposito throwing himself off the hotel balcony, dragging Tony with him. We have then experienced them sat back at their tables, looking forward to their evening meals, after enjoying Tony and Rudi's excellent presentation at the symposium that afternoon. However, this time's a bit different. For no apparent reason, and different for no apparent reason is always concerning. This time, the great Bauman has hypnotized 3 guests to seek out evil. Flavio's brother Stefano, botanist Claire Spelling, and, most concerning of all, ce soir reporter, son of vineyard owners, and young hunk and the women's favourite, Gaston Delarue. Seeing as he does appear to be attractive to the fairer sex, perhaps it's no surprise that a concerned Claire Spelling asked Gaston to walk her to her room after they were both hypnotised. There she confirmed what our heroes had heard from her on a previous Friday, that she's certain that time is repeating, and she's scared that she's going to die tonight. Deciding that the best way to calm herself was to dig into her research of taming the broken mind's nature's way, from her journeys among tribes around the world, Claire offered Gaston to join her in partaking in soothing herbs. His third eye well and truly opened, Gaston agreed, partaking and joining Claire in falling backwards into a calming and peaceful bubble. However, for Tony and Rudi, there is no calming and peaceful bubble, with our heroes searching more and more openly for answers. Noticing reporter for the De Standard newspaper, Julian Peters, suddenly leaving the room when the great Bauman was looking for volunteers, Rudi decided to follow the Belgian into the snug to confront him. Meanwhile, Tony waited until the great Bauman finished with his hypnosis performance and made a beeline for the Swiss mentalist, magician, and hypnotist, with a penchant for overly buttered bread and overly salted, overly cooked steak. The monster.
It's like a hate crime.
There he is. What a villain he is. While all this takes place time and time again, there is but one constant. The moth-eaten but still proud stuffed bear, Yanis, who stands stoically in the hallway by reception, hats and umbrellas piled upon him, but with glass eyes gazing deep into the soul of all those who pause to gaze back. Yanis could certainly tell many tales with what it has seen, but what it currently sees is that it's December 1937, just over half a year since the fateful voyage of the SS Cannes that left numerous innocent and not so innocent people dead, and numerous pairs of Tony Guerrero's trousers ruined beyond the capabilities of the best dry cleaners in Milan. Tony and Rudi have returned to the humble Le Petit Grand and have eaten their evening meal. The great Bauman has completed his work of powerful hypnosis, and the hotel guests and evening diners and drinkers alike have started to settle in by the numerous bars, both inside and outside the hotel. From now on, our story is shared and is theirs to tell as much as it is mine. So all I will do is set the scene in Le Petit Grand and then hand over to our fair heroes. And good evening, gaming with QP. Thank you for joining us. So, if the two of you remember, it might be John. Sorry, John's just asked me if it's pixelated. The kilobytes per second are very average at the minute. Hopefully it'll improve. So anyway, where have we left it? Gaston has gone upstairs to a young lady's bedroom and has partaken in drugs. He is now been welcomed into the drug community.
Mm-hmm.
He's never the same again. And the guest. Let's get the guest list up. If I haven't got the guest list up. Guest list. There we go. As for the two of you, as we've said, the hypnosis has finished. Rudi, you have headed out to the snug to follow Julian Peters on his way there, who snuck out while the hypnosis was happening. Tony, you waited until the usual hypnosis was done. A wallet found. Oh, the surprise! The crowd clapping and applauding and so on. The great Bauman taking his bow, and he was just about to head back to his table to clear up his things and finish his glass of schnapps on the table. The dining hall, as always at this time of the evening, has started to clear out. The outside bar, past the left-hand doors of the dining hall, past Yanis, and taken a coat and out to the outside bar, where drinkers are gathering in the beautiful snow to take in the beautiful sights of the mountains with a nice cold drink. Some have headed through to the snug. De Groot and Van Beek have headed to the billiard room as usual. And the Durans are in the bottom left-hand corner, and various others just slowly going about their business. We're going to start by heading through to the snug, if that is okay with you, Rudi Otto.
Mm-hmm.
It's very okay with me, but I would like, if I may,
yes,
that you give me all the information about Julian Peters that Rudi knows, because I can't seem to recollect any. Like, have we interacted with him before or something?
So between you, the person who's interacted with him the most is Gaston, and he's done it twice. So every evening he's gone to the snug. You've always found him in the snug every evening, and he's normally sat, as he is now, by the fire at the top of the picture as we see it, above the N and the U. And he always sits in a nice wing-backed chair, and he'll enjoy a drink and maybe a smoke. And the only thing you know about him is that he works for a newspaper which you recognise, The Standard, which, whereas Gaston is Ce Soir, which is a very left-wing paper, The Standard is a very right-wing newspaper that have supported both Franco and by now will be supporting the the Nazi Party's rise in Germany. Which that's for those watching as well. Our players would know who, our characters would know about the Standard newspaper. They're both learned men. There's things he said to Gaston, but neither of you have heard it, so Rudi would not approach him about anything else.
Is he alone in that room?
So, as you enter the snug, you are the next one, and he is sat up at the top of the room by the fire, in his wingback chair. There is only one other person in there who is a bar staff. We do have a name for it, but I can't find it because it's in my pages somewhere. I hope it's not important to you. But they're just...
Probably one of the NPCs that Fid's named.
Yeah, I think it might be Midge Smidgen. I think it might be Midge Smidgen, who has just sort of taken a glass of schnapps over on a tray and has walked back over to the small bar, which is on the wall between the snug and the billiard room, and rather professionally has gone back to polishing glasses with a tea towel and trying not to pay attention unless he's called upon. Other than that,
what is Julian? Yeah,
it's just the two of you in there. What is Julian doing? He is sat.
What is Julian doing? Yeah.
He has downed his schnapps very quickly and has already motioned over for another. He looks. Could you roll for me? Because we are using those Dark Places rules, which is 1d6 plus attributes to try and hit 8. Could you roll for me an education, please? Education, dear viewers, is used to analyze situations. So Rudi
The 3 plus 3, without occult or history or anything, it's a total of 6.
Yes, just a flat roll. So for those watching, the way it works is each of them have skills for charisma, agility, strength, and education between 1 and 4. They will add a d6 to that. They have some things they have bonus skills in. So for Rudi, if he can argue, and he does try, that it has connection to history or boxing, he'll get a +2 to his roll, or a +1 if it's connected to the occult. None of these things are, so it's just a flat dice roll, which is a 6, which in this game is not generally enough. And it isn't in this case. You can't tell much about him except that he's just drunk a glass very quickly.
I do a motion towards the staff member, like this motion, and say out loud as I slowly approach Julian, please bring this good man. The next round is on me.
Oh, that's he looks up a bit surprised to see you. He's been lost in his own thoughts.
Yes, bring him a snaps, please.
That's very, very, very kind, Monsieur Otto. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Wunderbar, mein Freund. He purposely starts to introduce a little bit more German that he usually does to his kind of approach, and yes, he will have a different approach for this particular person, and says, looks in the horizon as he stuffs his pipe and prepares it to smoke it with smoke, and says, that was an peculiar show, don't you think? Sehr interessant.
Oh, yes, I must admit, I've seen his, I've seen the show before. I knew what to expect, so I decided to beat the crowds into here and get my favorite seat.
Interesting. That was my first time. He takes a moment to entertain himself with by remembering the multiple times that he has relived this moment. But he continues and says, really, are you a fan of the great Bauman?
Well, could you roll a charisma check for me, please. A flat charisma check.
Again, a 6 total.
You can't read his. I guess you can't read if he's being truthful or not. I guess he's sort of playing his cards quite close to the chest. I admire him as a man. His did you see his levitation trick yesterday? It was very good indeed.
I must have missed it. I was giving a lecture yesterday.
Maybe I've heard that he'll be doing it again tomorrow. Maybe you'll enjoy it then. It's a sight to behold.
Is it more important, more impressive than his hypnosis trick?
Hypnosis is an interesting science, Monsieur Otto. Of course, as a reporter, by my very nature, I'm skeptical of many things. Do you believe that hypnotism is true, Monsieur Otto, or merely a trick?
So, just to clarify, before I answer you, if I may, have you seen this his hypnosis trick before? Then
Yes, he has performed it before. He has made someone bark like a dog before. It's he's made someone laugh non-stop before. I'm skeptical of that one, especially. You can see the pain in their face quite often, trying to hide their pauses and their paws when they're a dog.
How about the third act of this trick of hypnosis?
Please roll for me a charisma, a flat charisma, please.
Mark my words, I will destroy him with his. That's the ground.
Hang on, we're just having some weird droppage. Just wait a second. Don't go ahead too far. Hang on. Don't
I'm
push
doing
ahead.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Okay.
That's a 6.
6 on the dice.
There you go.
What's 6 in total? Nice. So you hit.
No, 6 on the dice. A 9 total.
A 9.
I told you I would destroy him.
I
will crush him like a thing. The roll was so powerful that everything is lagging.
I know, it's such a powerful roll, such a mighty roll. I'm blagging time a little bit to give it a chance to settle for a moment. He pauses, and you can see that he's being more careful with how he answers this time. Whereas before his answers have been quick, whether truthful or not. This time, it's like he's fighting to make sure he chooses his words very carefully. He's still trying to keep his smile, but his smile drops a little bit. I haven't seen this before. This is new. This one would have been new for me, I suppose.
Besides being careful, do I like understand that he's trying to lie and avoid the truth or something?
He does appear to be at least hiding something. Whether it's full out lying or just hiding, there's definitely, yeah.
All right. Let's Otto is thinking, let's grease that machine up and says, what if I told you that I know from a good interest that the first 2 bits of his trick, he looks suspiciously left and then to his right, are a fiasco, and he actually pays actors or people in need of easy money to pretend that they're laughing or barking like dogs. But if I also told you, actually, let's see his reaction to that first.
How would you know that, Monsieur Otto? You said you'd never seen him before perform. Like
I don't have to see someone to know things about him.
I wouldn't be
He
surprised.
told me.
I wouldn't be at all surprised, Monsieur Otto, if that was the case.
Sir, that I joined, and I went to see his performance this evening.
We're going to jump networks. I don't want to keep jumping through because this game is very talky, and I don't want more cutouts. I missed what you said there, John, and I don't want to keep doing that. So I'm going to pause for everyone, and we're going to jump networks.
Very well.
And then it'll be absolutely fine. So bear with me again. Let me just do that now for us. So please hang around, everyone. I'm just going to switch networks. Don't you worry. You'll see us vanish, and then we'll come back. Let's go to there. It's just very hot. The internet always breaks here when it's hot. And it's not even that hot. Imagine if my modem was in Greece. We'd never get anything done. I know. I restarted it. I restarted it this week as well. Like yesterday, I think. Because it'd been a little while, but I've forgotten. It's just old, but we're trying to move, so I don't want to get caught up in using the same old router. Do you know what I mean? Like in another big contract when we're looking to move. Okay, right. We're going to drop. We're going to be back